So here's a story from the old Desert Fathers that might help you if you're faced with a vocational discernment question or anything related like that. There are these three monks who got the idea to change the world in a positive way. They had ideas on how to do that, each with their own plan. So one monk goes off and decides to spend time with the poor, helping the poor. The other monk goes off to try to make world peace. And the third monk just decides to stay home, stay in his cell, and pray. And after a year's time, the two monks that went off, one to spend time with the poor, the other one to make world peace, they come back after a year, and they're kind of frustrated that they didn't achieve the results that they were hoping for. And they noticed in this monk that stayed home in his cell and just prayed, they noticed he was at peace, and then they noticed that he was content. And they asked him, why? Why are you content? Why are you at peace? And that monk, the one that stayed at home, he said, I want you to bring me a bowl of water. So they bring him a bowl of water. And then he says to them, I want each of you to take a handful of dust, a handful of mud, and throw it into the bowl of water. Okay, so they do that. And then he asks them, look into the bowl, and what do you see? And they say, just dirty water. And the monk says, right, come back in 10 minutes, tell me what you see. So they go away, they come back after 10 minutes, and they look into the bowl, same thing, muddy water, dirty water. And the old monk says, okay, come back tomorrow morning, and tell me what you see. So they do. Day goes by, the night goes by, they come back the next day in the morning, they look into the bowl, the monk asks them, what do you see? And they say, oh, I see my reflection. And the old monk asks them, why? And then it clicks for them. Because the dust had settled. The mud that was swirling around in the water had gone to the bottom, making it possible for them to see their reflection. And so the old monk says, well, the moral of this lesson, guys, is that if you're faced with a decision and you need some clarity, it's good to first let the dust settle at the level of the soul. And the reason is because when the dust settles, we're able to see more clearly. We're less able to deceive ourselves and to be agitated. Trouble is, we live in a world that's very agitated. We live in a world where there's so many sources of agitation and things that prevent the dust being settled. And I don't need to tell you what those are. You probably know what they are better than I do. But we're addicted. It's kind of like we're addicted to the sources of things that cause agitation in the soul. So if you're faced with a decision, if you're discerning something, a big life decision, a vocation decision, a minor decision, maybe just take this advice of this old monk who stayed at home and prayed, and that is to first let the dust settle in hopes that you'll gain more clarity to make the decision afterwards.